I have never tried this before. Oh, also that chat isn't going to work. We just have to look on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Let me switch to YouTube.
Okay. I now see us on YouTube.
You do?
It's working.
I don't see us on YouTube yet.
Let's see. It should be on.
There it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that will work. Let's wait here for a second. I see a couple people trickling over this way. And Marina, my grad school roommate, is here. And she can hear both of us. Yes!
Yay!
Marina, can you hear this test loop that I'm doing right now? Looping, 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 looping. I'm waiting for Marina to tell us if she can hear that.
Yeah. Man, my video is mirrored and it looks really weird. Okay. I unmirrored it, but now my face is backwards. Oh, so weird. Okay. Anyway.
It's going to be weird, but it's going to be great. Okay. So, after 27 minutes of trying to figure things out, we are here at Flute Loops and Crafting Facts. And you know what? This is a good lesson in technology and how sometimes if it doesn't work, everything can still work out anyway. So I'm going to start us off with a flute loop from my 2015 album, Hold It Up to the Sun. And this song, I recorded it and then promptly forgot about it because it didn't feel complicated enough. I wanted everything to be very complicated at that time. But I'm coming back to it now because I want to simplify and take things one step at a time. I've been feeling in quarantine a lot like there's so much to figure out to do music online that it's completely overwhelming. So in the spirit of taking things one step at a time, I'm going back to this song that is from my 2015 album. It's called I Hear You, and it is about not being able to hold my attention in one place for very long, which is something that I have struggled with my entire life. was that you were saying? Maybe I lost focus. What was that not you saying? I'm easily distracted. Maybe I lost focus. By a song in my head, what was that melody saying? I had it. Maybe I lost focus. By a song in my head, what was that melody saying? I had it. Maybe I lost focus. By a song in my head. What was that you were saying? Maybe I lost focus. What was that not you were saying? Easily distracted. Maybe I lost focus. By a song in my head. What was that not you saying? Easily distracted. Maybe I lost focus. By a song in my head. What was that not you saying? Easily distracted. Maybe I lost focus. By a song in my head. What was that not you saying? Easily distracted. Maybe I lost focus. By a song in my head. What was that not you saying? Easily distracted. Maybe I lost focus. By a song in my head. What was that not you saying? Easily distracted. Maybe I lost focus. By a song in my head. What was that not you saying? Easily distracted. Maybe I lost focus. By a song in my head. What was that not you saying? Easily Thank
That's
you.
so
Thank
cool.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh man, I forgot that looping is hard. Until this morning. Now it's like, oh
Nice.
my god. Cool. Let me look at the chat. Jessie likes it. Thanks, Jessie. And Sam. My sister Sam. Okay, so because this is Flute Loops and crafting facts, I'm gonna share a craft that I made one time. This is something that Anne named a headphone saver when I showed it to her yesterday. And so let's say you've got these headphones and you're gonna lose them, as you do. Well, let's also say that you got scrap leather from Michael's. If you just take some scissors and cut some holes in it, like so, then you can put your headphones in there. You know, not exactly like this, but something like this. And then you can cut holes for other little things, like cables. And you just roll it up. Ta-da! Travel ready. That's my first craft.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Anne. All right, I'm going to hand it off to Anne. She's going to tell you about her first piece and play it.
Cool. Yeah, so my first piece is 2 of the 5 incantations for solo flute by Jolivet. The first one I'm going to do is Pour que l'enfant qui va naître soit un fils, which means so that the child will be born a son. And the second one I'm going to do is Pour une communion saying de naître avec le monde, which means for the serene communion with the world, roughly. Jolivet was really inspired by ritualistic and like primitive sounding music. Oh, the Zoom's doing the squeaky thing. Hold on. It shouldn't be doing the squeaky thing.
We're talking about the Zoom recorder, right?
Yes.
The Zoom meeting. Okay.
Yes, yes. Is that better? Does it sound better now? No. Okay.
I actually don't hear the squeakiness.
Weird. Okay.
Let's just see, besides... Okay, Sam can't hear it. It's just Jessie. So for now, I think we're okay on that end. Thanks, Sam and Mom and Lisa, for chiming in.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Let's not work on that right now. We're going to mix better next time.
Yeah. Let's see how the flute sounds.
And Andrew, we'll ask you about the sample rate after this.
Okay. It's better now. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to start with movement 2 and the movement 4.
some Jolivet, just like Andrew Smith does.
All right. And then now for my crafting thing. This is my favorite cowl. And I made it with yarn I got as a gift. And yeah. It's knit. I used knitting. Knitting was the craft. So yeah.
How did you get into knitting? Did that when we were in school, right?
I did get into knitting while we were in school.
Is that
Did you just hear Jessie laughing in the background?
Yes, maniac.
Okay. Yeah. So I got into knitting in college. I guess just cause, I don't know why. And this is, 10 years later. I made this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My grandma tried that, and I worked on it for like several months, and then it disappeared. So I never finished it. So I'm very impressed with anyone who finishes knitting projects.
Yes, I have bins of yarn and projects in my living room.
Nice.
So.
Okay, we were gonna stop here and talk more, but since we haven't played that much and we took so long to get started, I think I'll just play my next one, which was going to be something else, but I decided to go easy on myself. And also, I really like this other piece. It's from this book of Piazzolla, Tango Etudes. Tango's by Astor Piazzolla, and it's number 4, and it is marked lento meditativo. And based on how I have been feeling trying to figure stuff out for this concert and just generally feeling about life right now, I felt like I needed a meditation instead of trying to play some really a lot more difficult classical flute stuff when I really only started practicing again a few weeks ago. So this is me being kind to myself, and also I really hope you like it as much as I do. Tango Etude number 4 by Astor Piazzolla.
That's beautiful.
Thanks. Yeah, I forgot about these, but they're so calm and just really beautiful. Yeah. Oh yeah, I have another craft. I'm also gonna look at the comments, see what's happening here. Oh, my mom liked it. And my bandmates. I don't know which of my bandmates is. Oh, it must be Megan, Fleckhouse Music. Cool. I'm glad you guys liked it. So I have a thing that I think is a really cool crafty item, but I think you need specialized tools to make it. And I didn't make it. I just want to show it off because it's really cool. My grandparents had a secret key rock in case somebody needed to get in and forgot the keys. And when I left town when I left Austin for several months this summer and fall, I decided to find a way to get a key rock so I could put the key to my storage unit. Anyway, that's not that important. But here it is. And what they did, Kaylee, who made this, was she drilled a hole through the rock. And on one side, took a little bit of the rock that was drilled out and put it back in so that you can't see through the top of the rock. But on the bottom, you can fit a key in there. And then you just put it in your garden, and you have a spare key. I think it's pretty cool.
Sorry, I was muted. It is cool. It's fun.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. I was really curious, I don't know if we have time to talk about it, but about people's like musical habits once they're out of school, because mine definitely went up and down quite a bit, and I just think it's cool to hear about how people have managed their musical lives.
I'm curious about that too. There are a lot of musicians in the chat, so if anybody has thoughts about that they would like to share it, that'd be cool. I have had ups when I was making my album, preparing for my album. I was playing a ton, but still not as much as I was playing in school, which was about 4 hours of practice plus whatever else we had going on a day. That can't be right. That was the ideal. I don't know that I did that. Maybe 1 year.
Yeah, I think looking back, that seems so luxurious to have 3 hours of practice, independent of rehearsals a day. I'm like, I don't have 3 hours of time anymore.
But now, or since school, we were talking about this yesterday, mostly made time to practice when there's a project or a gig coming up. And it's like, okay, I can find the time to learn that piece or prepare that thing. And so I try to create projects to give myself reasons to practice. But now, since quarantine started, I was like, I really crave routine. And so I sort of worked it into my routine to at least warm up and play something for half an hour every day. And then this concert and hopefully more of them, I think, can be a project to motivate me.
Totally. That was actually very similar to what I did. I got out of school and had a dry spell of no gigs and just started organizing concerts because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna stop being a musician. But anyway.
Yeah, if anybody else has questions about our lives as musicians, which are very different from each other, I think, feel free to throw them in the chat and we can answer them between songs. That would be fun. And I see that Andrew also said that his productivity, Andrew Smith, took a hit when quarantine first hit. That happened to me. But then after several weeks, then I was like, oh, I can fit practicing into my schedule and it actually feels good to have a routine. Yeah, Marina also going through similar struggles. Although Marina has another reason not to practice right now. She's going to have a baby pretty darn soon. So that's a really good excuse.
Yep, that seems like a good reason.
Love you, Anne.
Okay. Well, I guess I will play my last piece, my second piece. It's Hermes by Salvatore Sciarrino, and he is a living Italian composer. And this piece is inspired by the myth of Hermes ferrying the dead to Hades, the Greek myth, the classical
interpretation. And Sciarrino, kind of independent of that, a lot of his music has to do with silence and creating contrast so that you're more aware of the silence. So I hope you enjoy it.
agree with Megan. The ethereal sounds, the timbral trills, alien noises are badass.
Oh, thanks.
I love that stuff. What
Cool.
extensions are you using in that for our friends who are not flutists or contemporary musicians?
Yeah, so most of the piece is based on harmonics. So I used, I'd say maybe half the piece. I just fingered a low C on the flute, and that was it, basically. And then, so that was one thing. And then out of the harmonics, we get the timbre trills, the chirpy explosive sounds are just many harmonics sounding at the same time. And then the other techniques you heard were mostly tongue stops, which is that really hollow. And then jet whistles, which is when I blow, completely cover the embouchure hole and blow really hard. So.
To share, I'm going to go away. You can show people something.
All right, so these are the techniques. The tongue stops are this really hollow thuds. And then the other thing I covered the embouchure hole totally for was the jet whistles. And then everything else was pretty much an overtone of some sort. So either a harmonic or a timbre trill, or overblowing to get many harmonics to speak at once. Yeah.
Was expecting you to show some kind of craft or perhaps a SCOBY, but the extended technique demonstration was equally awesome. Do you want to share a non-musical creation before?
Your audio keeps cutting when I have mine unmuted, so I only heard about half of what you said the first time.
Oh, okay.
But so here I have a craft.
Cool. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. So here's my craft for that piece, and it is a cross stitch project that I made for Jessie for Christmas Hanukkah, and yeah. So I picked up cross stitching again this year. I learned to do it as a kid. So yeah, it was fun. I watched movies and made it. And I also have a SCOBY, but it's in the kitchen and it's like in a multiple gallon jar that is not easily transportable. But I know Jessie really wanted to show off my kombucha SCOBY. So it exists and it has a name. It's called Scobias the Third because it is the third batch of kombucha I have made.
Jessie helped with the SCOBY. Excellent. Okay, I have one more, and I have not attempted it in its entirety, so it's going to be an adventure, but there isn't that much to loop. So I might like just do the loop part and then just like wait a second for you guys to tell me if it sounds correct or not. And then if I get some like, yes, the rhythm is right, then I'll like go for it with the rest of the piece. Because otherwise it's going to be weird, which is okay too. But let's try this. in the chat. Does it sound right? All right, cool. Then here we go. I gave you okay, that's there. I'm now pulling up the lyrics. Oh yeah. That is the first iteration of Good as Hell.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That's such a fun piece.
Yeah, I like it because nothing changes in the whole thing. It's like made for looping.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. A lot of pop songs also have a B section that has different chords, which is not ideal for looping. That one does not. Cool. Wow, that was like a lot faster than I thought it was going to be. Oh yeah, because we didn't stop in the middle and talk about crafts.
We did not.
That's right. I actually have another one that I wanted to show that I forgot to bring over here. But maybe if my roommate's watching, she can bring it over here. She's doing something else. I'll be right back.
No. Okay. Cool. So while Kenzie is fetching her last craft, what do you guys want to see in future iterations of Flute Loops and crafting facts? Put a comment for Kenzie for future performances. I mean, now we see people requesting Lizzo. So you got to make that happen, Kenzie.
Wait, what are you talking about? You mean more Lizzo or like expand that song that I just did?
I think actual Lizzo, like the human.
Oh, like bring Lizzo. Okay, actually, I learned that my neighbor that I met last weekend works with Lizzo.
Oh, really?
And I was really excited.
That's like a New York moment. Well, you live in California, so it's an LA moment.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So maybe Lizzo will not be here next week, but sometime in the future. Deep dives. Okay, deep dives into all the crafts. But first, here's the thing. My roommate, Amy Pluff, rhymes with Wolf, is an expert crafter. And she made this thing that I wanted to show you. Here it is. This is a squirrel that she took apart. Well, it's not a real squirrel. It's a plastic squirrel.
Important distinctions.
I don't actually know that much about it. I should have asked more about it before I showed it on the chat. But she painted it gold and cut it into 5 pieces and put it on a little piece of plywood that she found outside, which she painted the color of its blood. Really beautifully. And this can hold keys or something. So if you have a plastic toy that you don't mind dismembering and a piece of plywood, you can make a hook, whatever you call this, some hooks.
In the delightfully creepy squirrel accessories, I have a bookend, just one, with a squirrel on it that is also painted gold.
Nice.
Yeah. Such a thing.
Yeah, so what I meant to do in the middle of this, because I thought that our like pieces would take longer. We already played everything we were going to play for you. Thanks for listening. I was going to stop in the middle and ask Anne more about her crafts, like deep dive into crafts. Oh, back up. The reason that this is named Flute Loops and Crafting Facts is basically because Crafting Facts almost rhymes with Apple Jacks. And then also that I thought that Anne, you know, her creativity in non-musical endeavors was kind of adjacent to crafting, even though yarn work and food projects are not exactly crafts. So then I was just like, okay, well, we got to find some crafts because the name is already set. But I all jokes aside, I really am fascinated by the way that my former classmates and musical colleagues have picked up hobbies. As we all approach 30 or like past 30, we have gotten interested in things other than playing our flutes. And I always like to hear about how people got into those things and what those things are. So, Anne, I already asked you when you got into knitting and like yarn work and stuff. How about the food stuff? Like, you have an incredible Instagram feed, has some amazing breads on it that I could never imagine making. And the kombucha, and there's some other, kimchi, some other stuff that you make. Can you tell us a little about how you got into doing those things and I don't know why you do them?
Sure. I started bread baking in New York, like either during or right after my master's degree. And I don't know, it just looked like something fun that I could do. And like everyone makes such a big deal out of making bread, but people have made bread for literally millennia. And it's just water and flour, salt and yeast at its most basic. And like we have no knead bread now, so you don't even have to knead it. It's like there, and I did that, and then I started a sourdough starter, and now I have multiple sourdough starters because I wanted a white sourdough starter along with a rye sourdough starter because reasons. And And from there, I kind of got into fermenting things in general. So that's how I got kimchi. And also I've made pickles before and stuff. But kimchi, we keep in the house all the time. So like there's a jar in the fridge right now, and I have ingredients to make a new batch because we're almost out. So I don't know. It's food. Keeps forever. Probiotics are good for you.
Keeps forever? Can you really, like, how long can you keep kimchi?
If it's alive kimchi, like you fermented it and you keep it in the fridge, it'll basically keep forever. You want to kind of keep it below the liquid, but that's just so it doesn't mold. Like once it's in the fridge, I've never had it start molding on me. So like I've kept it like maybe 6 months once, but
that's
yeah.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. I've not attempted that. I haven't acquired a taste for pickled things, but it seems like such a cool thing to be able to do that I'm motivated to acquire the taste for pickled things.
Yeah, I almost always cook kimchi. I don't usually eat it raw. So like make kimchi fried rice a lot is the best one. Or I put it in ramen too.
That sounds delicious.
That's pretty good.
All right. Yeah. Well, I wanted to say before I forget, besides thank you everyone so much for hanging out with us and being patient with my technical difficulties as I try to set up my first live stream. Thank you so much for that. The other thing is, originally I had Anne's website and my website on the stream that I'd set up, but since we don't have that anymore, I'm just going to write it here. It's Anne Maker Music, right? Mm-hmm. AnneMakerMusic.com.
Yep.
And mine is KenzieSlottow.com. And I'm going to be doing this, I think, continuously so that I get better at it and we can have different guests. And of course, if you want to come on again, then awesome. But you have to have different stuff to show. You have to make stuff. That's okay. The only requirement for coming on here again is you have to make more stuff. And then I may try to do it on like a different platform next time. Still figuring out the technology. But let me know if you can think of some flute loops that you might want to hear. Or some musician friends, doesn't have to be flute, that you want to hear on this show that has only happened this once. And yeah, you guys were great. Thanks for listening to us and watching us.
Yeah, thanks for everyone for showing up.
And Anne, thank you so much for being brave and willing to do a thing that was very undefined.
It's all good.
You're awesome.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I had fun. Bye, everybody.
Bye.